everyone, welcome back to the Zach F1 channel, and today obviously you can see I'm live streaming. Yes, we're back on the Zach F1 channel live streaming, and we're officially going to be live streaming until 3 o'clock. So this is the first time I've live streamed properly on my channel for the last month or so. It's been a long time, but I'm so excited to be back. And hey, we've got a lot to talk about. Actually, let me move my face to the other side because my actual team's over here. But anyway, let me get the comments up, and basically, like usual in this video live stream, I'm gonna be going over my thoughts for my team, what my ideas are, then helping you guys out, showing the F1 Fantasy tools. No, not F1 Fantasy. Yeah, it is F1 Fantasy Tools selections and what they're thinking, and then all the timings from FP3, all of that bollocks. But anyway, I probably shouldn't have said a swear word in the first minute, but who cares? Let's get into it. Let me get the comments up. And also, here's the music. Tell me if it's too loud or too quiet, because obviously it's supposed to just be in the background music. Right, so let me get all of this good stuff up. Let me mute it as well, so I'm not doing anything crazy. And hello everyone, good to see you all back to the channel. Hi Michael, good to see you. Right, first question, Norris and Russell or Piastri and Sainz? 100% Norris and Russell, purely because I'm not even that big of a fan of Russell right now. He's got a lot of pace in that Mercedes, that's like come out of nowhere. But the main thing about Russell that I'm scared about is that he's going off the track a lot. If for anyone who did watch FP3, you'll get what I mean. He went off to the what's it called? The exit areas. My mind went completely blank. And he's done that plenty of times when he was pushing. And of course, in a race, you're going to be pushing all the time. So I'm a bit nervous about him, but he's still better than having Piastri and Sainz. Piastri and Sainz are a bit of a no-go. Norris looks like he's going to do a clean sweep this weekend at the minute, so you have to have Norris in as well. Hey, Enna with the G, how you doing, man? Glad to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're... I'd love to hear what your thoughts are for your teams as well. Norris Leclerc or Norris Piastri, Norris Leclerc as well. So, right, I can also see under that as well. Let me get up. Let me zoom a bit more into here, because you guys, of course, are going to get a little sneak peek into what I'm thinking. And so, obviously, my team looks a little bit crazy right now, but this is my thinking. Bum, bum, or bum, bum. Most likely going to be this, because I still have faith in Ferrari. I generally do just think they were dicking about more than they were leading on. I'm 100% sure they're going to at least be in the top 5, so I'm not too worried about Ferrari, because we do need to talk about them. What they were doing apparently in FP3 especially is not going with a formation sort of ish lap, you know, getting the tyres up to scratch and then going for it. They would do 1 or 2 laps rubbing the tyres and then go for it, which was a weird way to do it. And Leclerc was just saying it just wasn't nice, and Leclerc was really not feeling it. So it's always a little bit worrying when you see FP1 Leclerc smashing it, FP2 Leclerc and Sainz still smashing it, and then FP3 they're just, when everyone's changed their setups, done everything different to the car. However, my money is still on Mercedes. My money is still on on Ferrari, still having a bit of pace, more at least than they said they had. Although, from the looks of things, I've now gone from Ferrari and McLaren looking like they're going to be battling a lot to Ferrari, still my second favourite, but especially Lando Norris in that McLaren. Wow, he looks rapid. So it's not even a competition anymore. And right, let's get a few of these messages in. Right, so Norris Sainz or Norris Russell. I don't have the budget for Leclerc and Piastri. So I think you can see right now, this is most likely what I'm going to be going for. So I think Norris and Sainz is the way to go, and it is also because, of, like I mentioned, Russell making quite a lot of mistakes, and we've got to remember, Sainz and Russell are not winning the race. They're not getting fastest lap. They're not doing anything crazy. So most likely they're going to get to 18 to 25 points. Now, it sounds a little bit stupid to say this, but that's why I'm not too worried about the Sainz and Russell thing, because if you get Sainz wrong, we're going with Russell, nothing really too bad happens. You miss out on 3 or 4 points. However, if your cheap drivers go wrong, you can miss out on budget, you can miss out on a good haul of points. That's what I'm scared about dropping Albon down to Bottas for. And of course, if you don't get the 2 times driver right, you could miss out on 30, 40, 50 points at some points. So yeah, there's a lot of George or Carlos questions in there. And for me, 100%, it's Sainz, a clear first place. I know George looked very good, but I'm expecting Ferrari to be better in qualifying. And then Russell. Again, Russell looking decent pace-wise. But let's see what the race pace is, because I doubt it's going to be anything amazing. And then also he's made a lot of mistakes. Right, so I have, this is from Lannister Wheels. I have Norris, Russell, Albon, Colapinto, Zhou plus McLaren, Ferrari with 3 transfers. Right, that is a good start. Options, swap Norris, Russell, Albon. Oh, right, I see. Swap Norris, Russell, Albon for Leclerc, Piastri, Bottas. I wouldn't do that. Or swap Russell, Albon for Sainz, Bottas. Again, so I actually think, like I just mentioned, it's better to have someone like Albon where you're probably going to get a 0.5 million increase. And Russell and Sainz, sorry. Russell and Sainz are going to get such similar points where I don't think it matters too much who you have between Russell and Sainz. So it's all about making sure that you have that Albon over Bottas. So for me, I would actually, yeah, after all of those free transfers that you saved up, I would honestly stick with what you've got and keep it to Kota, because I guarantee you within a month's time, for a sprint race weekend, you're going to be needing those. But for now, I think that's as good as you're about going to get realistically. Right. And then Nico asks, hey Zach, I think I'm going to use Final Fix. Really bad to use that now. Right, so Final Fix won't open up till after qualifying anyway. So we'll see what happens. Why are you thinking of using Final Fix? Because obviously Final Fix is only really something you would think of using after qualifying happens, and let's say Leclerc's like 13th, and you're like, oh crap, I need to get him out. And you bring in Final Fix to like Russell or Piastri or whoever you have. But right, I'm going to put something in the poll as well. But for me, it's a clear-cut answer, because I can see this coming up a lot. Sainz or Leclerc, Leclerc or Leclerc, Piastri or Leclerc. So, for me, it's Leclerc all the way. 100%. We've seen it in FP2. Let's all remember, FP2 did happen. FP3, of course, was bad, but FP2 happened, and we know Ferrari still have a bit of pace. So, for me, Leclerc is still better than Piastri, and he's still better than Sainz. Of course, it's all about the budget, though. So, a lot of people like me, I can't have Norris Leclerc, so it's looking like a Norris Sainz, Norris Russell situation. But if you can afford Norris and Leclerc with 3 decent-ish cheap drivers, so basically, for me, I would never drop as low to a double Sauber. That's my personal opinion, and I think it's because you're basically, once you go to that level, you're locked in. You're not changing your team anymore. So realistically, what I want to get to is being able to afford to go from Norris, Leclerc, and then double Saubers with all of that. But realistically, I'd rather have it Norris, Leclerc, Albon, and Zhou and Colapinto, and then I'll be happy with that. So, yeah, that sort of answers it. So Leclerc over Piastri and Sainz, 100%. But let's see what everyone's thinking about that, because I do love seeing what the peeps are all saying. Leclerc or Piastri or Sainz. So my money is on Leclerc, but budget-wise, it would have to be Sainz. So that's why I will be running Sainz. For anyone who's just coming in as well, or wants to know, the team on my screen actually is most likely the team I'm going to be running. I doubt there's going to be any changes. I've made up my mind with Russell's. He's been having too many incidents this weekend, so I don't really want him. I feel like he's a bit of a risk. And Carlos Sainz at 22.7 million seems like a not too shabby weekend to have him in. Hey, F1 Fantasy, cheers, man. I hope you guys' live stream goes well today. And yeah. If it is, it's going to be a good weekend, but I have a very strong feeling a lot of us are going to have the same teams. And again, so I actually want to come back to my Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz point, because I see Michael saying, well, I'm not too sure, because some people are a little bit iffy on the Ferrari pace. For me, it's one of those things, isn't it? Where Piastri hasn't looked blinding, I don't actually think he's going to get into the top 2. But if Piastri does, remember in F1 Fantasy, if you get second place, if you qualify second, that's 8 points. Then you get 18 points for coming second. And if you don't move, that's just 26 points. So for me, there's not enough push to go for Piastri when there's always that differential of Leclerc in the Ferrari who could potentially put up the fight to Norris. I don't think it's going to happen this weekend, but it could potentially happen. And it's always worse, I think, for me, taking that risk doing that when you know someone like Piastri, who hasn't looked amazing this weekend, is not likely going to be in the top 2. And if he does, he's not going to be ahead of Norris. Oh, the Sims are out. That's really early. Let's go. Okay. Right, I'll get those up in a second then because I have it ready. But is VCARB better than Haas this weekend? From the looks of things so far. Although, like I mentioned in my post-EP2 video, VCARB's one of those situations where I can actually show it right now. If I go back, let's look at the other team. So I made this team just out of the... This is obviously, you can tell I'm not taking this one seriously. Do not take a minus 40. Team 1 and team 2 and team 3 don't really matter too much. But as you can see, VCARB, if you want the differential, I still would definitely not recommend it at all to anyone who has over 115 million in the budget. But if you have something less than that, why not go for something crazy? Because you're not catching up to the big dogs unless you go for something crazy and get that budget up. But generally, yeah, 150 million. And considering most people's budgets are now around 120 to 130, I wouldn't expect most people to be having that team. But anyway, let's go have a look at the Sims. What are the Sims saying, everyone? So let's put the budget at 125. That's a good little average. That's a big number. No, not 1250. Let's see what they're saying. So 100%, they're oh, okay. They very much like the McLaren and Ferrari, of course. Norris, Piastri, I'm not surprised about. Albon and Colapinto, again, 100%. I could understand that. Oh, focus. There we go. Hey, Fadav, good stuff, man. Yeah, you too. I hope you have a great show, man. Always big respect to your channel, man. Oh, yeah, but ooh, this is looking interesting. So, as you can see, where is my team? So here is my team, which most likely gonna run. And the only reason is I actually have 123.8 million. And as you can see, sadly, I need 1 extra million to be doing all of that stuff. 124.8 million. It's a shame, but a lot of people can have that in. And like I mentioned, if you can have that, it's good. But that's what I keep on stressing. So Michael, again, coming in hot with the good questions, is Sims telling me Piastri over Leclerc, but marginally. And that's why I prefer Leclerc, because you're not going to get a surprise from Piastri this weekend. Last weekend, he actually looked very good, so it's fair enough. But you could potentially, and it's a very low chance this weekend, but let's say Norris crashes out, you're going to have potentially Leclerc second or third place. And I feel like it's just better to go for that, don't put all your eggs in don't put your eggs in the same basket, you know what I mean? And I just think having Leclerc or Sainz is a better option than Piastri. But, I mean, what's the chat saying? So, Leclerc 47%, Piastri 33%, 21% Sainz. Yeah, that's about what I thought. That kind of makes sense. Right, haven't seen any free practice. What should be my second? If you're talking about second premium driver, I would go for, I would go for Leclerc if you can afford him. If you can't afford him, because again, I can't remember if I actually reiterated this. Yeah, look, 100% if you have the money, Leclerc over Sainz. It's a shame I don't have the money, and that's the issue. That's the problem. Here, look down here, okay? So, McLaren, Ferrari, Norris, Piastri, Colapinto, Bottas and Zhou, 123.1 million. I could afford that team. A lot of people could afford that team. You're digging yourself a hole if you get double Sauber. And you've got to be happy with Norris, Piastri for the rest of the season, because you're not changing. You're not getting any budget increases with a team like that, which they will score good. Norris and Piastri, very good drivers to have, but that means 100% you're sticking with that. There's no changes. You can't get better cheap drivers to get those few extra points like Albon, Hulkenberg. And that's why I prefer going for a team that's sort of similar to this one with Albon and Colapinto always, or the Sainz one with 122.4, 122.3 million. So that's my thinking for all of that, for everyone there. Right. Is Leclerc better than Sainz? Yeah, I've talked about that. I have Norris and Russell, Ferrari and McLaren. Thinking of going for Norris and Leclerc by swapping Ferrari for Aston. So that's the thing. I wouldn't do something like that. Aston aren't going to score a lot of constructor points this weekend. Not even probably more than 20 to 25 points. Ferrari will still score more than 50 plus points this weekend, and that's 25 points you're missing out. And I don't think the change from Russell to Leclerc is 25 point gap. So that's how you got to think about all of this stuff when you do it. Just think fully, okay, if I do this, I'm going to lose 20 to 25 points. But am I going to make 20, 25 points up? No, not really. It's the same way you do the minus 10 points. And that's why you never minus 10 for a cheap driver. We know this. Let's see what they're doing for 130 million. 130 million's a big budget. And yeah, so for anyone who has 127.8 million, which I know a few people do have, which is like the dream team, that is the dream team you want to be able to get to. McLaren, Ferrari, Norris, Piastri, Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, or McLaren, Ferrari, Norris, Leclerc. They're basically the same price, and that is, I say basically, they are the same price. That is what you sort of want to get to. And when you start getting in double Saubers, you stop yourself from doing anything. All right, let me get the team back up again, which I think I'm going to be running. I'd be surprised if I didn't end up running it. Peeps. Can you all see that on my screen? Yeah, you can. Right, and it's literally just changed the 2 big dog drivers, and obviously 2 times on Norris as well. Let me go back into full screen mode. Good stuff. Right, do we know anything about grid penalties? I haven't seen anything on grid penalties just yet. I don't think anyone's really going to be getting anything. I know Michael talked about tyre infringements from Leclerc. I'd be surprised if they pushed that any further. Who should we pick aside from Albon, Colapinto? Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, or Tsunoda? My money is on Tsunoda as well. The issue is they cost a lot of money, and it's not worth bringing better, cheaper drivers over Norris, which you need to bring the money for. Because I could easily drop Norris to a Russell and have 2 premium drivers of Russell and Sainz, and then I could have Albon, Tsunoda, Colapinto, but then all of a sudden I'm missing out on like 30, 40 points from that 2 times. 2 times very important, remember everyone. And then, so chips-wise, no one's really mentioned it, but I'll mention it pretty quickly. Again, no chips, I don't think. No negative, doesn't seem to be really needed right around here. And I keep stressing autopilot, because a lot of people have been asking this, and I do need to stress that the situation, again, you've got to think long term. The situation is that on the sprint race weekends, we're going to be having the exact same questions and answers that we're having now. It's going to be the exact same thing of, oh, should I Norris, Leclerc? Who should I autopilot on 2 times? Or, oh, Norris and Piastri, who am I going to 2 times there? We're going to have the same questions on the sprint race weekend, where there's plenty more points to come around. So I do just think you've got to be careful with that sort of thinking, and think, okay, if I can autopilot this weekend, hang on, but I can still autopilot the weekend afterwards, and it's probably most likely going to be even better. So you've got to hold out for that. I know how many. I think I've got 3 chips left. I think I've got extra DRS and autopilot, which are the 2 big ones left. What else do I have actually? Let's have a look for a second. No, I've just got autopilot and extra DRS left. Extra DRS I will be playing at Sao Paulo. I think I told everyone that about 3-4 months ago. But there you go for it at that. And then autopilot I'll probably be playing in Kota, depending on where Norris and Leclerc are. If not, potentially extra DRS there as well. We'll see what happens with all of that stuff. But let me get back to this team. Boom, boom. I don't know why it keeps on doing that. There we go. Norris, and where's my boy Carlos Sainz? I don't know why I got rid of Joe. Oh, yeah, also, right, next poll up, everyone. Next poll up. Right. Right. Joe or Bottas? It's a pretty dud one, to be fair. But Joe or Bottas? What are we saying? So also on the final poll for that stuff, 51% Leclerc, that kind of makes sense. Because now they're very similar on points. Who do we bring in? Because I like Bottas, but they're pretty much basically the same price now. And I'm only having Zhou because I just had him already, and it's not worth thinking about changing for him for a team. Changing my team around, sorry, for him. Yeah, close to my team. Yeah, I think most people will be running very similar teams. It's going to be Norris, McLaren, Ferrari, backbones 2 times, 100% for everyone, most likely. And the only difference is going to be Sainz, Leclerc, or Russell, or Piastri, depending on your budget. And then also the cheap drivers, you're going to get a few people, Norris, Leclerc, double Saubers, a few people like me with the Williams, then a few people potentially going Norris, Russell, and then increasing Zhou to a Sonoda. So there'll be a few differences, but all of them are decent. So, right, worth splitting. Second premium driver, Russell Sainz, into 4 Cs would be good to bring in budget to bet for the free time. So, Lannister, it depends what you're saying, because technically for the free times, I'm going to make sure I have free transfers ready, so I can literally just go, okay, Sainz double Sauber, because that's the only weekend I will do double Sauber when it's worth bringing in Norris and Leclerc, and then taking them straight back out again for Norris or Sainz, Norris, Piastri again, and then bringing back a Williams or whoever looks good at that point. So I would say it's not worth bringing in 4 tier drivers. I don't think it ever is now. You're just going to lose out on too many points. It's like a 10-15 point drop, basically, from even a premium driver like Russell and Sainz to those C-tier drivers. Is Mercedes out of the question? Nazblood asks. And for me, they're not a bad option. They're not as bad as they looked on Friday, but for me, yeah, they're still out of the question. I think Hamilton, like I actually mentioned in my video, which I never wish a downfall on a driver, because I do actually like Hamilton, but when I did predict him to have a shambles of a race, I think I'm getting it a bit spot on there, and I think that's the issue with Mercedes. I think Hamilton's qualifying pace is really going to struggle here, and even if Russell does well, I think we're really going to be... I think we're in a situation where Ferrari's still a better option. Right. Hey, Yannick, good to see you back. Yeah, I know it's first time in a while we've done a good old live stream. But we're back into the action, back ready to go, basically. And then Silent Sinner, how are we feeling originally? I was going to swap Russell to Sainz, but they wanted me to make it interesting for FP3. Yeah, I know. So we're basically in the same boat. It's Sainz or Russell, and I've spoken about it again. You know what? Okay, so people are putting Bottas for that. Let's get another poll going. So this is for my budget lot. This is for the budget lot. Sainz or Russell? Because my money is on Sainz purely because he's the safe option. Now, also for anyone who wants to know as well, here's my global league ranking as well. Top 1,200 at the minute. That's going pretty well. So 1,154. I'm trying to get into that top 1,000. Hopefully it happens this weekend. But I think there's too many similar teams going about. So I'd be surprised if it was this weekend. Another driver that I haven't really spoke about a lot is Colapinto. Colapinto has to be in everyone's team. He is such a good driver at the minute. And at 5.8 million, he's just going up and up. So I would 100% go for something like that. So Henry asks... Oh, no, hang on. Sorry, I'll get to you in a second. 2 times Norris and then Sainz or Russell. Okay, yeah. So my money's on Sainz. Hey, Desix, how you doing? Any thoughts on setting up team to potentially switch to Red Bull next race? 125 million budget currently. Ooh. I think Red Bull's out of the contention now, F1 Fantasy-wise, for quite a while. So I don't think I'm going to be going anywhere near them right now. I've also just seen a comment from someone. Hopefully they see the live stream, because I'm actually just going to put the Discord link in the live stream right now. So here's the Discord link for anyone who wants to join it. We talk about F1 Fantasy and all that good stuff over there. But yeah, Red Bull basically out of contention. It's McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes that I like talking about now. Red Bull too expensive and they don't give you anything right now. Hulk to Yuki, what are your thoughts? Yes, 100%. I actually think this is the first weekend for a while that you shouldn't actually have Hulkenberg over Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda's been looking dreadful recently. I mean, it's not really his fault. VCAR's been pretty bad, but I would risk it and go for Yuki. And then good build for 117.7 million. You know what? Let's have a look. Because I believe 117.7 million will get you a team with... Yeah, it's a single premium driver team. Now... That's where... Could you find a bit of money? Yeah, hang on. What is it talking about? Actually, I see what it means. Okay, so if you took out Alonso, because Alonso is not a good option at all. Could you squeeze in? Let's see what happens when you take out Norris, because I don't like single premium driver builds, but you kind of have to at your point. Yeah, you have to. So out of all of the options here for 117.7 million, I would go for, well, there you go. But instead of Hulkenberg, I would take out Tsunoda. I'd bring in Tsunoda instead. But then Albon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Colapinto, I think is a very decent lineup with Norris, McLaren, and Ferrari. That's as good as you're really going to get at 117.7 million. It's a shame, but... Sorry. It's a shame, but that's how it's going to work out. Right. Let me get over to... Back to 125 million. Okay, Tsunoda or Hulkenberg? Tsunoda, yeah. I 100%. You know what? That's the next poll as well. Once Sainz and Russell's gone out, we're going to do Tsunoda versus Hulkenberg. Because Hulkenberg's 10.2 and Tsunoda's 10.3. We can actually have a look. I don't... Yeah, I got it right. Sweet. So they're basically the same price. So it is a great initial thought to have. Has look okay this weekend, but... VCarb's the ones that look pretty risky, and that's why I think, why not go for the risk? They looked pretty good in FP2. They looked okay in FP3. Let's see what they can do. Right, so Carla Romero asks, I have Russell. To get to Sainz, I have to swap Albon for Bottas, and I have to get a double Sauber. Then, yeah, if you're in that situation, never drop to a double Sauber. Remember, the Sainz and Russell points difference is not going to be a lot. So for me... Keep to your gut and never go double Sauber. And my gut is telling me to never go to double Sauber. You are digging yourself a hole if you go to double Sauber. Right. Sainz plus Bottas or Russell and Albon. But there you go. Okay. So, like I mentioned, yeah. Russell and Albon is a better option than Sainz plus Bottas. But Sainz and Russell by themselves, Sainz is the better option. There you go. And then, of course, if you have more budget, of course, then Norris and Leclerc is the better two drivers as well. So I've got 122.5 million in my main one. Then you, Henry, you can most likely rock a team very similar to mine, which is pretty good. Right. Lannister, don't have the budget for Norris and Leclerc for my free times, so I need to do something to get there. My budget is 121.6 million. Right, so you know what you do with that then? You've got to have both Williams. You have both Williams, try to get up, because then what you know what you can do? For Sao Paulo, get up. Get more and more and more. Hang on. Now, Ostrava, you know what? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, shame on me. Whatever. I remember about 3-4 months ago, you did something very similar. I'm pretty sure. So someone check that, because I'm not falling for that. Right. Above what budget would you switch from a single premium driver? Basically, when you can afford Norris and Russell, which is... where is Russell? So I would drop to double Sauber, by the way. The only time I would drop to double Sauber is to bring these guys in. So I'm on 123.8 million. So let's do a bit of quick maths here. 123.8. That is 119.3 million. So about 119 million I would swap over to the two premium driver builds. La la la. There we go. Back to Albon. Right, would you go Norris, Piastri, or Leclerc? So I would go Norris and Leclerc. Yeah, but see, Empike, just be careful with the two Saubers. I really don't like it. But anyway, right, so Sainz and Russell. Sainz wins that fair and square. Right, let's get up this next. Oh, we go through these polls quickly. Right, what was the next one? Hulkenberg versus Tsunoda. Hulk or Tsunoda. I can't be asked. I don't know why I spelled Tsunoda's name fully, but then not Hulkenberg. But my money is on Tsunoda this weekend. What are you guys thinking? So if you have anything less than 119 million, realistically, you've got to go with Norris as your 2x driver, and then bring in people that could really go 0.5 million, which for me is Stroll, Albon, Colapinto, and who was the other one? Oh, Tsunoda. Of course, Tsunoda, yeah. Right. Empike has Norris, Russell, Tsunoda, Bottas, Colapinto. Yeah, like that sort of team is very good. That is very good. I would keep that. Would you double Sauber to upgrade Russell, Sainz to Leclerc or Piastri? So no. So that's why I wouldn't, because I actually am in a position where I thought, okay, I could do that. Where I could have Norris, Leclerc, Bottas, Zhou, and Colapinto. But for me, obviously, don't look at the 2 times on Leclerc. He's not supposed to be 2 times. Yeah, there you go. For me, it's one of those situations, like I said, you're digging yourself in a hole where you can't get out of that. That is your team for the rest of the season now, no matter what happens, basically. And cheap drivers still are important. And then also, on a weekend where Norris looks pretty dominant, I don't think it matters too much where you go with your second premium driver. And that's why I think it's better to go, okay, Sainz, keep Albon, hope for a few 0.5 million increases and improve your team elsewhere, and then take the 5-point cut from having Leclerc Sainz before Sainz instead of Leclerc. So I have exactly 124 million. What should I do? I believe you're in the same situation as me then. I would go for Norris, Sainz, McLaren, Ferrari builds with Albon. I would go for my team that you got right here. I would go for Bottas normally over Zhou as well. It depends who you had in your team, first of all. Right, why Leclerc over Piastri? So, Leclerc over Piastri is basically because Piastri, first of all, hasn't been showing much pace. But if by a stretch of an imagination we get Ferrari all of a sudden coming out with massive improvements in qualifying and they actually do put a fight to Norris, it's much more likely as a differential that Leclerc will score more points than than Piastri will score more points than Norris. So what I'm trying to say is, if Piastri did come second place or first place, Norris looks good here, so he will be right behind him, and then they'll do some team order stuff. Leclerc, if he's right behind Norris or ahead of Norris, he's going to push him back into the field, and Leclerc then could potentially get more points because he's not going to be doing team orders with McLaren. F1 Sims out, have Piastri over Leclerc, not by much though. Yeah, so there you go. That's my thoughts on it, basically. I think it's worth the risk going to Leclerc for Piastri, especially as I don't think both of them are going to be really pushing Norris. Leclerc, like I said, most likely to do that. Okay, right. Can you suggest me the best team for 118.5 million? Yeah, sure. Right, let's go back over to F1 Fantasy team calculator for that. What are we saying? Single premium driver builds. I know you have to have over 119 to do it. It's a shame, but it basically is what they're putting. So you see this team here: McLaren, Ferrari, Norris, Albon, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Colapinto. Replace Hulkenberg to Tsunoda, and then you got the team. There's my global ranking again. I clicked on the wrong one though. That's why. Okay, -10 to take Norris or keep Leclerc and Piastri. So I would actually take a -10 to keep Norris and Sainz. No, to take Norris and Sainz, because Norris this weekend, I'm not kidding, if he could potentially get the win, driver of the day, and fastest lap. Yeah, Yannick. You're right. Hang on, crap. Oh god. So Leclerc and Piastri not options anymore. Screw it. Bring in. Oh no, wait, but Sainz is best friends with Norris, so he's gonna let him past. Who's not friends with Norris on the grid? Russell will most likely take him out, so you can't have Norris and Russell because they'll crash. You can't have Norris and Sainz because Sainz will let Norris through. You can't have Norris Leclerc because, like Yannick said, they will be. He wants Lando to be world champion, and then you can't have Norris and Piastri because actually, maybe it's Norris and Piastri there. But yeah, in all seriousness, Norris and Sainz is worth taking a -10 for. Because Norris passed this lap, race win, everything, driver of the day, could be up to 50 plus points this weekend if he gets it right. What about 126.7 million? If you've got 126.7 million, I would be looking at increasing. So I wouldn't mind having one Sauber, but I would 100% then go for Norris Leclerc. And then if you can afford to increase to a Tsunoda or Hulkenberg, I would, but I don't think you can. So in that situation, potentially Gasly. I believe he's 9.8 million. Yeah, and if not, again, you would have to stick with Zhou for just one more weekend. Okay, right, back to Carlos Sainz. There's my boy. Right, I have Leclerc, Russell, Hulkenberg, Colapinto. So this is from Natalie with Ferrari and McLaren. 120.9. Maybe Hulkenberg to Tsunoda. Yeah, but is there no way you can... I see what you mean. Natalie, preferably would increase Leclerc to Norris and then drop Hulkenberg down to Albon. That's what I would do with 120.9 million, because I believe you can do that. K-Mag will fly up and clear him out. Oh, true, Obama, true. Oh, what do we do there then? So, actually, what would you do for a... What would you do for a, like, trying to get the worst amount of points in F1 Fantasy? So that would be Alpine and Sauber as your constructors. 2 times Zhou. God, that hurts just saying. 2 times Zhou with Bottas. Then Ocon, Magnussen, and hope he crashes out. And, oh, who else could we bring in? Oh, no, I'm bringing inactive Sergeant. There you go. That's anti-F1 Fantasy for you. -10 for Ferrari over Mercedes. I would have said yes after FP2, but now I'm saying no. Now I'm saying it's not worth it at all. Yeah, 100%. It could be a nice little challenge mode, isn't it? Right. So the only way I get out of 2 Saubers is to drop Piastri as a second driver and pick up Russell to upgrade Zhou. If I don't upgrade, I have free reign to either pick Leclerc or Piastri. So yeah, I fully am in the situation of thinking that it's worth downgrading Piastri to Russell to upgrade Zhou. That's my professional opinion. Yeah, true. All right. So, Venomorphy, good to see you back in the chat. Yep, I'm doing good. I hope you are doing well as well. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, because obviously, yeah, it has been a little while. Like and subscribe as always. But I'm loving being back on the live stream on my channel. It's actually gone very quick. It's already 1:10. Qualifying starts in 50 odd minutes. I'm short by 0.2. I think I'll have to stick with what I have. Hang on, sorry, my bad. Let me get to what you had then. Oh, okay, yeah. If you're short by 0.2, then what could you do in that situation then? I would honestly, Natalie, if you're short by 0.2 million with bringing in Albon over Hulk, I would take the -10 to get double Sauber just for this weekend, because I do think Norris is getting about 20 to 30 points more than any other driver this weekend with that 2 times. Right, sorry, then, yeah, so Venomorphy, I'll get to you now. He has a team of Albon, Zhou, Colapinto, Russell, Leclerc, Ferrari, and McLaren with 0.8 million in the bank. Also, a very similar situation to Natalie. Any suggestions? Oh, so basically what I told Natalie, if you can afford to bring in Norris and Russell and keep Albon, then go for it. I don't believe you can, though, with, I believe, Leclerc's 25.2. Yes. So you would have to do again, you would have to drop to double Sauber. So, like I need to reiterate, only drop to double Sauber if you can't afford to have Norris plus a second premium driver in your team. If not, then I would go for trying to protect your cheaper drivers like I'm doing right now. Right, so all I can afford is Leclerc or Sainz or Norris and Russell. What do you think? Norris and Russell all the way, Isha. 100%. Oh, okay, so I'm actually going against the grain then a little bit. It's 50-50. Hulk versus Sonoda. What a showdown. Get them in the WWE. Get them in the... What's it called? WWE court? I don't know. Get them a little showdown. I still think Sonoda's a better option for this weekend. But yeah, I get it. Stroll does have DNF potential. But with Stroll, you sort of have to just take that and hope that he doesn't. Because you have to go for something crazy if you don't have more than 119 million in the bank. What would you suggest for 120.3 million? I believe that's a double Sauber Norris-Russell situation, if you can, with Colapinto, of course. Right, hello, Daddy. Good to see you in the chat. Right, let's see. However, oof, a big word. Have I ever actually said however before? I don't think I actually have. I might need to start saying that a little bit more. What would you do with 124.7 million? I went 3 premium drivers with McLaren and Williams as constructors. McLaren and Williams? What's going on there? Hang on a second. Right, I get me in the differential, but I just don't think it's on right now. You have to go with McLaren and Ferrari, or at least McLaren and Mercedes. With 124.7 million as well, correct me if I'm wrong, let me come back to this. I believe you can bring in Leclerc anyway. Or was it? No, it was 127. Oh, it was 124.8, wasn't it? Oh my God, it was 124.8. So I would go for a team I have like this. I would go with that team right there. Danny. That's my thinking. And then hopefully get an Albon increase, and then you could potentially hope for the best. And then move up to a Norris Leclerc build with those cheap drivers. Yeah, damn Sargent. Curse him. Right, Bottas or Zhou? For me, just because Bottas is cheaper, 7.2 million Bottas. But if you have Zhou in your team like I do, just keep him in your team. Those two don't really matter too much. Right, Pete has 2 transfers at the minute. Hulkenberg to Albon, so 3 transfers in Kota. Or Hulkenberg to Albon, Russell to Sainz, but only 2 transfers in Kota. Yeah, see, I like Pete's thinking here. So he's got, what's it called? He's thinking long term, which I do believe is the way to go in F1 Fantasy. Having 3 free transfers is very juicy going into Kota, because as we know, it's a sprint race weekend. So expect some autopilots, expect some 3 times DRS, and expect some limitlesses. So for me, I would just go Hulkenberg to Albon and then stick with what you've got, because I'm assuming you've got Norris and Russell, and that is still fine for this weekend. Right, I'm running McLaren and Mercedes. This is from Tim, but I can only afford either Leclerc Russell or Piastri Russell. What would you do? Oh, that's a tough one. See, I would, Tim, I would go single premium driver Norris, even over having 2 premium drivers. That's how good Norris has looked this weekend. Is Sainz and Russell better for budget building than Norris and Albon? No, I don't think so. Because Albon can go up 0.5 million, and Norris most likely is going to go up 0.2-ish million. So, and I don't think Sainz and Russell are going to get 1 million increases. So I don't actually think there's any much of a... I think actually Norris and Albon's the better one for budget and for points, boy pairs. So Jack asks in the chat, Lando, Sainz, Bottas, Zhou, Albon. So that's a double... That is a double Sauber. That's the issue. McLaren and Mercedes is my team. Would you keep this or swap Sainz for Russell and then Merc for Ferrari? Yes, I would do that. I'd do both of those. Swap Sainz, swap Russell to Sainz and Mercedes to Ferrari. 100%. Okay, right. I have 119.7 minutes. Isha, I don't want to tell you this, but we might have to sit you down. It's going to be a tough end of the season. Seeing everyone do those 3 times extra DRSs with Leclerc and Norris in their team, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. And that's why we tried to get up our team values as soon as possible in the season. But yes, right, Albon, Ricciardo or Hulkenberg. So I think I prefer Albon over Ricciardo. I don't think, even in the V-Carb, I'm not expecting too much. I think Tsunoda's the better option there. And then Albon is just been doing so good recently. I expect him to carry on with his form. So I think he's a better option than Hulkenberg and Ricciardo. So Albon, then Hulkenberg, not very good this weekend. So maybe Albon, Ricciardo, then Hulkenberg, I think for me. So I have the team you're showing right now, but Bottas instead of Albon. Is that all right? So like I said, it's fine to have double Sauber if you physically cannot afford it. But if you can have Albon instead of Bottas or Zhou and have Norris and Russell, that is a better team. Right. So that's what I'm thinking, Brendan. Right. What are we saying? Can't get Norris and Leclerc for my free time. Suggestions to get there. My budget is 121.6 million. So you're basically wanting to be able to get to that double Sauber position where you can just bring in Norris and Leclerc for 1 weekend with double Sauber and then move out of them right there. So what you've got to do is have Albon and Colapinto in your team 100%. And then try to have no Saubers. Basically, if you want to increase budget, you can't have Saubers in your team. Mainly. But I would say 1 Sauber's fine. But basically, it's just all about getting those Williams increases on the 0.5 millions. That's what I would do, Lannister. Right, is it important to get switched from Mercedes to Ferrari, even if I have to drop Russell for Tsunoda? No. If you have to drop someone like Russell to a Tsunoda, it's not worth it. I think, from the looks of things, now it's going back to the situation where Mercedes and Ferrari actually might score similar points. So we'll see how we get there. Right, what are we saying? I've got what you've got, only Leclerc instead of Sainz. Yeah, Pete, honestly, you're living the life. I wish I could have what you had. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be too much of a difference because I don't think Leclerc's going to be getting anything crazy on the 2 times. But, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Norris and Leclerc's the way to go 100%. Okay, would you sacrifice a minus 25 this week to keep Sargent, aiming for a top 2 premium drivers and 3 times chip next week? No, I don't think so. purely because also you're not getting any budget increases there. You're getting a 0.2 million drop, and the longer you keep Sargent in your team, the harder it is to drop him. That's why I was also not the biggest fan of the no negative Sargent move in Baku. It was okay if you really had to do it, but it's just pushing something. What's it called? You're procrastinating it, sort of, by not getting him out of your team. Right, is it worth both Salvas with Leclerc, Norris, Colapinto? So, Nico, I think it's not worth it. And I believe, actually, we can have a look at how the poll ended on my Twitter. Where is my Twitter? Here it is. Where is it? Here we go. So this is how my poll ended on Twitter, which basically was talking about what teams do you prefer with Sauber. So Norris, Leclerc plus double Sauber, Norris and Sainz with one or less Sauber. And Norris and Sainz did come out 57.1% out of everyone. And then Norris, Leclerc closely behind. I thought it'd be further away. But yeah, so I think the gist of what people are thinking and what I'm thinking is Norris Sainz with only one Sauber or less is the way to go. Righty-ho, let's get back over to this screen. Full screen. Boop. Okay, Lunas. Luns, I have 125.6 million. Thoughts of final fixing Piastri and Leclerc, depending on who qualifies better. I don't think it's worth it. Final fix, you have to be in a situation like last weekend where someone like Norris qualifies 15th. That's the times you look at final fixing. Of course, it didn't really end up working there, but that's when you have to use it. But let's say Piastri qualifies second and Leclerc qualifies third. There's no real reason to final fix, I don't think, for that. Mercedes or Ferrari? Mercedes 100%. We're going to do this poll, but I don't think it's going to be close. Let's see what everyone's thinking. Mercedes or Ferrari? My mind is still very much on Ferrari. So let's see what everyone's saying, because I really do think it will be a Ferrari. They're not going to be a fantastic, but they're better. Hi, Zach. I have all my chips other than Limitless. Suggestion on the rest. So you've got to just use them in, I believe, Qatar's a sprint race. Sao Paulo's a sprint race. And Kota's a sprint race. So use them as much as you can there. So you'll want to use your extra. So my plan is autopilot in Kota, extra DRS in Sao Paulo, and then that's it for me because I've got no more chips. But then any other chip you have, like you could wild card on a sprint race weekend just to get more points in potentially. But yeah, try to stick to that. And if you've got any other free ones, then just drop them whenever you can. Right, Leclerc and Zhou or Russell and Hulkenberg. I prefer Russell and Hulkenberg just because there's more room for your team. It is, Yannick. Yeah, next race is a sprint race weekend already. I know. Of course, next race is in a month's time. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm going to just be putting out videos. They'll still be about F1, but I'll be sort of like, okay, let's see what I can talk about. There's not going to be much, but hopefully there's a lot of drama. Hopefully Sauber confirm their driver. That's a video. And then hopefully I can, I don't know, there's always something to talk about. Anyone saying Merc is better? I'm going to say... Yeah, hang on. Who is that 5%? Put your hand up in the chat for whoever put Mercedes. I'm not going to name and shame, but I am. Right, thoughts? Slash poll for Leclerc versus Piastri. So, Jeffrey, we've already done one actually, and it came out Leclerc as better. Leclerc got 41% to Piastri's 20-odd%, but that's also because we had Sainz, I believe. Sainz in that poll, and Sainz got about 18-19%. Jelson, yeah, this is going to be my final team. Sadly, I can't afford Leclerc without dropping to double Sauber, and my game plan is I don't think double Sauber's the way to go. Actually, everyone, not yet. In 20 minutes, I'm going to lock in my team, put it on Twitter. Remember to follow me on Twitter if you want any of this stuff, because I'm always commenting on stuff. Especially, I don't know how much I should be doing it at work, but I watch practice at work, and so I'm always just on Twitter, because there's nothing to do at work. Right, Bottas over Zhou. Yeah, I would go Bottas over Zhou, but it depends on if you had him already in your team. It's basically, if you had Bottas, keep him in your team. If you had Zhou, keep him in your team. That sort of thing. Right, Sainz and Bottas versus Russell and Albon. Russell and Albon, Josh. Yeah, as suspected, Ferrari 96%, Mercedes 4%. I thought it would go that way. I'm so mad that I forgot to swap Max to Lando and Red Bull to Mercedes that one weekend. It screwed my whole team. Yeah, it was that one weekend where the tide sort of just changed. We were like, hang on, what's going on there? And then Red Bull haven't really been the same since. Well, they were for a bit, but now they're very much in the mud. Would you keep Norris and Russell if you had to pair it with double Sauber? I would only keep Norris and Russell and double Sauber if that's literally the last resort. If you physically have to do that, then go for it. Because I still think that's better than having a single premium driver build, and you just got to play the long game. Best CTR driver after Williams duo would 100%. Well, I think Tsunoda is still a better option than both of them, but it's most likely him. Would you do a video on which tracks are good for which team / drivers, etc.? What, for the rest of the season? Yeah, I could, because it's nice to talk about that sort of stuff. I might do some rankings again as well. I might just talk about the season so far. There's quite a lot I want to get through, but that's good. But we got a week off, a month off, I guess. I'm being delusional on that. Right. I either have to keep Sainz and Mercedes or switch Russell and Ferrari. What do you think is better? I would go with Russell and Ferrari. I think Russell and Sainz are going to be scoring similar points. And I do also think Ferrari and Mercedes will score similar points. But I think similar points is more for constructors being within 10 points. And drivers scoring similar points is between 5 points. So it's always better to have the better constructor out of everyone. Hello, ATL. Good to see you in the chat. Lando and Stroll or Charles and Russell? Lando and Stroll, purely because it's got Lando Norris in the team. And he looks like the clear-cut 2 times. Right, and then Pete, feel like I'm wasting a transfer. The team I got now, I'm not going to change, and then won't use free transfers I have in a minute. Running what you have on the screen, only Bottas and Leclerc instead. Wait, it's one of those things where if it's not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think, Pete, from seeing what your team's like, you don't really need to fix it. So don't worry about that. Oh, my days. Why are you ruining my live stream? Oh, what is this? Oh, whatever. Sancho. That's football rubbish. This is F1. Right. Norris Piastri or Norris Leclerc? Norris Leclerc Gelson, 100%. It's very close on the suggestions, I believe it was. Yeah, because let's put 125 million in. It's very close to what it thinks. It thinks Piastri just about, but for me, I think it's gonna be 124. I think Leclerc's the better option. He's got more of a chance to put up a fight against Norris at this weekend, because Piastri hasn't looked too amazing. Right, and then Lorenzo asks, is it worth it to drop Albon for Bottas to switch Mercedes to Ferrari? Again, Lorenzo, it depends what your budget is, because I'd say if you're happy with your budget right now, I would drop Albon down to Bottas and go with Ferrari instead. But if you're still trying to increase your budget and not go for something crazy, then I don't think it's worth dropping Albon to Bottas, because you're stuck. When you bring in Bottas, you've got Bottas, basically. Jelson, I'm telling you, my money is on Leclerc. But when I say my money is on Leclerc, right, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about, because I need to stress this so much to everyone. Look how much, basically, it's going to take a while to load up. Look how much the second best driver scores every weekend. So, Azerbaijan, different. Norris had fastest lap. Look at the difference right here, yeah? Leclerc got the most amount of points in Monza, 46. Then fastest lap, Norris, 36. But then look how close they are, 7 points there. Now, Netherlands is a much better argument for what I'm trying to talk about. Norris, 56 points. He clean sweeped it, and I could see this happening in Singapore. Then look at the rest of them. Leclerc, 26. Piastri, 20. Hamilton, 21. We're going to be seeing those sorts of points from Leclerc, Sainz, and Piastri if they're not competing with Norris this weekend. And that's why I think it's not that much of a difference between Leclerc and Piastri. But then also, it is a situation where if we are going to get a differential, it's going to be Leclerc, as we got shown in Monza. Any other news on Leclerc's warning? I don't actually know, I haven't seen... No one's really put anything in the chat. so I don't think anything crazy is happening. Force on autopiloting with Norris and Leclerc, save for the sprint race. Yeah, Pete, 100% save it for the sprint race. We're going to have the same situation happening again. Don't you worry. It's going to be... You need to. Which races still in the season with sprint? So I know it's Brazil, Qatar, and Kota. But I believe there's one more. It might be Mexico. Is it? Right, so... Is it Mexico? No, it won't be Mexico. There won't be two. I think... Is there only 3? I believe... There might be only 3 left. Yeah, because Qatar is... Yeah, no, hang on. Okay, yeah. No, there's 3 more sprint races. And it's Kota, Brazil, and Qatar. There you go. Sprint race there. Sprint race there. So, 3 sprint races left. Bear in mind, if you have Limitless, Extra DRS, and Autopilot, there you go. That's your free. That's your free big chips in 3 sprint races. That's my thinking. Piastri or Leclerc for your build? Leclerc, 100%. Or what a tight poll we had as well. Mercedes just losing behind Ferrari by 6% to 94%. Very close. Russell or Sainz? F1 Fantasy Tools has the easiest way to tell for the sprint race. Oh, do they actually? What? Does it have a sprint race? Oh, yeah. It literally has them in white. There you go. How did I... Sorry, my face is in the way. Let me scroll it down. There you go. Kota, Brazil, Qatar. One after the other. So, boom, break, boom, break, boom, break. There you go. No problem, Lannister. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where it's an opportunity, isn't it? When FanAmp came to me, I was like, okay, I can't say no to that. You know what I mean? Like, wow, that's FanAmp. So that's why I did them for the last 2 weeks. But I think if I ever do get put back onto FanAmp, if they ever need me again, I will try to do what I did last weekend, where I do an hour stream before anyway, so I completely have keeping you guys happy here, and then getting that opportunity over there as well. That's my thinking. But also, yeah, we get a really nice long hour-and-a-half live stream here, which I do really like doing. Right, so Ula asks, I have Leclerc, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Albon, Colapinto, Ferrari, McLaren, 126.5. Woo, that's a lot of money. Should I swap Piastri and Hulk for Norris and Bottas? Wait. You should... Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I would do that. Yeah. I'd bring in Norris and Bottas, 100% Ula. And then you're sitting pretty, basically. With Albon, Bottas, and Colapinto, that's the best team you can have, basically, for the rest of the season. Hello, Aaron. How you doing, man? So, Nico asks, hi, Zach. I have Leclerc, Russell, 123.6 million. You should try getting to a team I have, Nico. You can afford that with 123.6. That's what I would suggest. So for that, you'd have to basically... I would honestly even take a -10 to do that. And the situation would be Leclerc to Norris, keep Russell, drop Hulkenberg down to a Zhou or a Bottas, and then you're good to go. Oh no, but you've got 3 swaps. There you go. You don't need to take a -10 then. That's what I would do. Isaiah asks, Norris, Russell, Bottas, Zhou, Colapinto, or Norris, Albon, Alonso? Norris, Russell, Bottas, Zhou, Colapinto, 100%. Both with McLaren and Ferrari? Yeah, the first option, 100%. Just another question. Ferrari looks so bad at FP3 compared to the Mercs. Thoughts? So, they looked... I think FP3... Let's go have a look at it again. I believe... Did I save it in here? No, of course I didn't. I think everyone's looking too much into FP3. I know McLaren looked rapid, but Ferrari weren't terrible. Let's not forget, Norris looked fields above everyone else, but they were still looking better, close to Mercedes. And from practice 2, they looked amazing. So I think it's one of those situations where if they looked close to Mercedes on this one, and looked better in the other ones, I'd still think it's Ferrari the way to go. Well, at least that's what my thinking is for that. They loved it, man. They were just like, come on, let's see. Let's give the fans what they want. Oh, sprint races. Okay. How do we rank Sonoda versus Hulkenberg, Albon, Ricciardo, or Stroll? for a single premium driver build. So my thinking is Tsunoda the top dog, Albon second dog, Stroll third dog, Hulkenberg fourth, Ricciardo fifth. There you go. What do you think about Stroll? So I do like him for a single premium driver build, but that's it. Only if you have single premium drivers, that's the only time I would. Yeah, potentially they're sandbagging. I don't think they're sandbagging from the way Leclerc was pretty angry, but I think it's more of a they just need to fiddle about with the car and stop dicking about with the tyres, because they were doing so much dicking about with the tyres, basically. Right, so Gintaris has bad luck. Well, sorry to hear that. The team that is in last place usually performs better than with changes. Last week, I see, yeah. Maybe stop changing the team altogether. What's your team, Gintaris? What's your team? Because if it is Norris, Sainz, Albon, Zhou, and Colapinto, then I would say, yeah, stick with it. Oh, God. Then David asked, Norris, Leclerc, Colapinto, Albon, Bottas, McLaren, Ferrari, 1.3 million transfers. What are your suggestions? Wow, that is a stacked team. I would say with 1.3 million, you don't do anything. Norris and Leclerc's what you want. McLaren, Ferrari's what you want. I would say now just keep that budget going until you can increase Bottas to Albon and increase Albon to a Hulkenberg or a Tsunoda or something like that. Leclerc was complaining about the car at the end of PS3 and happy was with the car. So that's the thing again. So like I mentioned, on weekends where one driver just runs away with things, which we very much could see with Norris right now, you don't see a lot of difference in the drivers who come second place to fifth place in points. And that's why I also think going with Leclerc's a better risk to take. Should I go Leclerc and Tsunoda, two Sainz and Stroll? No. I would stick with Leclerc and Tsunoda, though. Because out of Leclerc and Sainz, I think Leclerc's the one who could push more than Sainz. Piastri or Leclerc, it's still close, though. So Norris, Russell, Zhou, Bottas, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari. Well, yeah, that is a good team. You're just sort of stuck at double Sauber. But it's the fit. I would stick with what you got then, Gintaris. Norris and Russell's all you really need. Right, Kvek has Lando, Gasly, Hulkenberg. Hang on. Quickly before I do that. Where did I put the... here it is. Where did I put the link? I'll put the link to the Discord back in. Actually, I'll just pin this message. There you go. There you go. Right, that's the link to the Discord. Get out of the way. There we go. Sorry, right. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Kvek. Lando, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Bottas, and Sargent. Ooh, and Red Bull, McLaren. What's going on, Kvek? Not a massive budget, but free transfers. Right, so first off, Sargent and Red Bull, you've got to get out. Those are your first two priorities. So you drop Red Bull to a Ferrari, and you increase Sargent to Colapinto. That should be an easy, quick enough in and out swap. Then, with the rest of your team, you're probably going to want to get Gasly or Hulkenberg down to an Albon, and then start getting your team ready so you can move into a 2 premium driver build. But Norris, for now, is fine, having as a 2x driver. Okay, right. Lobby724, Oliver, I've got a budget of 134, wait, what? Wait, sorry, wait, I'm a little bit lost on that budget. Sorry, could you put that in again? Okay, Levan has Norris and Sainz, Norris and Russell, Norris and Sainz for me. I'd go Levan. Using McLaren, McLaren, Ferrari constructors at the moment. What do you think about Mercedes constructor giving Russell's FP3 time? The issue is, I don't think Russell's gonna do it again, and even if he does, I think Leclerc and Sainz will be right behind him, and Hamilton's gonna be 6th or 7th. So I still think Ferrari's the more consistent and better option to go with. I'm a little bit worried about Mercedes. Mercedes always drop up a bit more in the races as well, which is a shame for them, but you know how it goes. So, 130.4 million. Jesus! How did you end up getting that much money? Fair play. Honestly, fair play. 130.4, you can bring in Norris, Leclerc. You could probably bring in Norris, Leclerc, Albon, Tsunoda, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari, I'm pretty sure. And with that, you're basically set for life, because then you just put Tsunoda back to Hulkenberg when you need it. Can you not? Yeah, no, I don't know what it's talking about. You 100% could increase Hulkenberg to Tsunoda, but I think I prefer that one for now. But, of course, change Hulkenberg to Tsunoda and change Piastri to Leclerc. Okay, last week I took out Albon and put Bottas. I ditched a McLaren and went for Ferrari. Oh, eesh, yeah, no, ouch, that's going to hurt. Yeah, fair play. I'd make sure. Oh, Mercedes. No, Mercedes, right, instead of Ferrari, not McLaren. Yeah, no, but that was just unlucky, you know what I mean? Like, I was very annoyed with that Ferrari crash because my predictions were spot on before that crash, and then that happened. Norris gained more points. McLaren and Mercedes claimed more points, and then all of a sudden I was like, right, okay, this has gone from a great weekend where I'm going to move up loads of positions to a stalemate weekend. So, Brooke asks, do I drop Ferrari for Williams and go for 3 premium drivers? No, I would stick with 2 premium drivers and 2 top constructors because, like I mentioned, the 2 times drivers, the only one that matters this weekend, which is going to be Lando Norris. And then constructors matter more than the premium drivers elsewhere because I think the other premium drivers are only going to get 20-ish points this weekend. Because remember, not a lot of overtaking, which gets a lot of position gains points and overtaking points. And then also, if Norris does run away with this, he'll get fastest lap and driver of the day, and then everyone's getting the scraps of the points. I've got 132 million on my only budget team. Oh, damn. Yeah. Bumbo, that's where literally you just go, all right, cool. Wild card, Norris, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari. You could probably bring in Albon, Colapinto and a third premium driver at that case. Right, 122.5 budget, 3 transfers are available. I believe you could just bring in the team I'm running. Yeah, you can bring in this team: Norris, Sainz, Albon, Zhou, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari, and with 3 free transfers, you should be able to do that. Bottas over Zhou. Yep, 100% Bottas over Zhou, but I just, obviously, like I've mentioned quite a few times, I've just got Zhou in my team from last weekend, so there's no real need to bring him out. Unfortunately, it often happens that the change turns out... Yeah, honestly, it's typical. I know, that's what happened in Canada. Actually, what did I do? I was so adamant that Mercedes were like, no, it's not going to happen. And then that was the worst F1 Fantasy weekend I think I've had this year. Thank God I haven't had anything close to that. But that took me from top 150 to top 2,500 in one race weekend. Whew, it was horrible. But now I'm back up to almost top 1,000. So, Norris and Sainz versus Piastri and Leclerc. Norris and Sainz 100%. You know what? I'm going to make that a poll. Because I believe... Yeah, it was... right. What are we saying? Norris and Sainz, or Piastri and Leclerc? For me, 100% Norris and Sainz, and I don't think it's actually going to be close. I'd be surprised if it did. If it was, my bad. I'm at 104.5 million. Low is so over. The jam sandwich. Don't worry, you're gonna get jammy, and you're gonna get a million points. Hang on, let's see what team you could actually make. Because I don't think you could make too much, but I think it's just. Could you bring in Norris? Yeah. Yeah. You might be cooked. You might be done. Yeah. You've been left in the toaster a little bit too long. For me, it would actually be, yeah, honestly, going McLaren, Williams, Norris. No, 2 premium driver builds. No, it'd be McLaren, Mercedes, and if you could afford that. But yeah, nah. Yeah, the main thing is you got to try and have Norris in your team. Okay, yeah, no, true. Trust in Williams. The Williams hype train is going to happen. Don't worry. We've got it covered. Worth it to downgrade Albon to Zhou to get Sainz instead of Russell? No, William. I think Sainz and Russell are going to score similar points, so it's not worth it realistically to do it. Oh my God, would you look at the time? It's 1:40. Okay, everyone, you are going to watch me as I lock in my team, so you can see I'm not trying to cheat you guys out or anything like that. So let's do all of this. I'll get back to the comments in a section. I'll still be able to see them, but so as you can see, 2 out of my 2 transfers, 1.4 million left. So Oscar to Norris, Leclerc to Sainz, 2 times on Norris. Bim bam boom. We're good to go for this weekend. Now, what you're all about to see is how I'm gonna get it onto Twitter. So you can show me there. I can show you exactly what I'm gonna be doing. I don't know if that I don't know if the stream cuts out when I do that, but right, team. So that is team for Twitter. Okay, good stuff. Right, let's get Twitter up over here. Remember, everyone, follow my Twitter if you want some more F1 Fantasy news, because I'm always posting over there. All right, posts. Where's that photo? Team for Twitter. Good luck, everyone. Let me put this down for a second. Good luck, everyone. Went with Norris and Sainz to not have double Sauber. Looking like a great weekend of racing. Enjoy. Hashtag F1 Fantasy. There we go. So, there we go. That is my team logged in for everyone. So now I can fully come and help out every single one of your teams. Right, let me get back to this. I'm going to just stick with this on my screen. Optimal teams. I'm just going to stick with the optimal teams on my screen when that loads up, because we love when it loads. Max budget 132. Who do you think I am? 125. Right, and then let me get back to all of this. So Norris and Sainz, like suspected, beats out Piastri and Leclerc. Okay, right. Leclerc versus Piastri, like I mentioned, Leclerc is the way to go. Leclerc's the one who could be a little bit of a differential. Piastri's going to be, even if he's first place and Norris is second, Piastri will give the position back to Norris. So most likely Norris will get driver of the day and fastest lap. So Leclerc's the one who could be like, you know, let me put up a fight there and see what happens. Right. Jelson asks, do I bring Gasly over Zhou for my fifth driver with Norris, Leclerc, Albon? Jelson, you're rubbing it in with us, aren't you? No, I'm joking. I would, to be fair, if you've got nothing else to change on your team, because it's so amazing anyway, get rid of that last Sauber. You're literally, you have the dream team, and I would honestly stick with that team for the rest of the season, unless Piastri starts looking decent. Well, starts looking decent again. I don't mean that like that. He's been looking amazing, as in weekend to weekend, who looks better? Leclerc or Piastri. That's all you got to really change. -10 for Albon instead of Zhou. So no, it's not worth the -10, remember, because cheap drivers, you're not going to score more than 10 points anyway. So you'll end up being a minus. You'll end up being in the negative anyway if you do that. So you're just going from a potential of Zhou still giving you something to you're going to get minus points there, and you're going to get minus points no matter what happens if you do the -10 for Albon. So right, Avery has Norris, Leclerc, Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari. I have 3 transfers. So what should I do? Well, you're in a very similar situation to Jelson. Honestly, that is the dream team. I don't think you need to change anything. Norris, put the 2 times on. Leclerc, the good differential for not having everything on McLaren. But also potentially if Norris crashes out or Leclerc does come back in qualifying, you have him there. Then Albon, I love... Oh no, Hulkenberg to Tsunoda. There you go. That's it. I knew I'd find something. Hulkenberg, change him to Tsunoda just this weekend. Then 125.2, I have Norris, Leclerc, McLaren. Any changes? If you have Hulkenberg, change him to Tsunoda, and that's about it. DRS, Leclerc, or Norris? Norris 100%. Norris has been looking fantastic so far, so I would stick with him. What else could you do? Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, 3 transfers and nothing much to do. Yeah, no, I don't blame you, Jelson. It's like you got all of us trying to get the budget. Like, 2 transfers there, 2 transfers there. I don't have 3 transfers anymore. You're just chilling that, yeah. Nothing too crazy for me, you know. You probably answered this, but would you swap Norris, Leclerc to Norris and Sainz to upgrade Zhou to Tsunoda? I would. I actually haven't had that specific question, but I would. Honestly, because I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between points-wise between Leclerc, Piastri, or even Sainz this weekend. Hello, Aaron. Right, so Lando plus Yuki or Stroll or Charles and Russell. I'd go for Lando and Yuki. because the 2 times is going to be ridiculous on Norris if he gets this right this weekend. Right, against Norris, lucky my main team lags behind my second team by about 200 points. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot of points behind. 8 million, damn. If you're down by a lot of points last race, that message just got deleted. Right, yeah, my team, I can show you all on Twitter. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, look at it here. This is my team coming into this weekend. Yeah, good luck, Mike. I don't know if you're on the stream or not, but locked in, saving a transfer. Yeah, like, look at this team as well. This is what I wanted to have as well, what Let's Go's got, but it's not worked out like that because I don't have enough transfer value for it. Leclerc or Piastri? No, not Piastri. Leclerc, Nicolas. Hi, Zach. Should I go with Russell, Albon, Bottas, save on transfer, or Sainz, Joe, Bottas? Save on transfer and go save on transfer and do Russell, Albon, Bottas 100%, because you're going to need those free transfers for Kota, and I'm really annoyed that I can't fit in getting changing only one driver. If I could, I would, because then I'd be sitting pretty for Kota, because I'm telling you, you're going to need them when you're working with your chips 100%. But anyway, we're getting closer and closer to qualifying time. Let's get in your final questions. I will be here for another 5-10 minutes. And then I'll go set up qualifying because I'm very excited for qualifying. I mean, knowing Norris is predicted to get pole position always makes it nice. Definitely not a McLaren fanboy. I don't know what you're talking about. So we'll see what happens. No, Katya, I would not put my 3 times on Lando. You want to save your big chips for, for sprint race weekends. And you've got one coming up next race weekend, which sounds pretty soon, but it's in a month's time. It's next weekend, you know what I mean, in October, which I can't be waiting that long. No, see, that's the thing, Bumbo. So I might do a few qualifying streams. Yeah, cheers, Justin. See you on Discord, man. I might do a few qualifying streams maybe next year or when I'm not doing it, but the thing is, I like to just chill and relax while I'm watching qualifying. And obviously, if I'm live streaming, I have to do the commentating over it, and I have to get up a HUD, all of this stuff, and I can't actually show the live stream, which I wish I could. I wish I could just put my Now TV on and be like, here you go, guys. But yeah, maybe if I can sort that out because I've got a month to figure out if I could do it. Maybe I'll do a qualifying watch along for Kota. Oh no, because that's a sprint race weekend. Yeah, so I might do a watch along for the sprint qualifying and sprint race, because that would be good fun. But that's about it, to be fair. No problem, Jan. Norris, Leclerc, Colapinto, Albon, Sonoda, McLaren, Ferrari locked in. Now just need 4-5 million more for the next level team. Oh, good stuff, man. I'm excited to see what your team can do. That's a really good team. A timer? Oh, right. I see what you mean. Like a timer, and then I put something. Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll see what the sort of thoughts are on it as well. But for now, I'm definitely gonna be watching it just on my telly. Also because I'm probably gonna go get some food and I'll get a drink and I'm gonna relax. Well, as much as I can, stressing about F1 Fantasy every weekend. I'm always qualifying's always more qualifying and the first lap. I should get a heartbeat monitor to see how high my heartbeat goes, because I can't deal with it, especially when you've got like a differential team. Like last weekend when I had Leclerc 2 times, which was going to end up working, but then McLaren, good for me as a fan of McLaren, but bad for F1 Fantasy, didn't really end up there. I was so scared going into that weekend. But yeah, okay, so I was thinking Leclerc and Zhou and Russell and out. So Nicolas, if you do that, be prepared that you're going to be kind of stuck with that team though. So just be careful with that. But anyway, yes, Leclerc and Zhou is still not bad, but I do think Russell Albon's better because it keeps your teams open and potentially get more budget. And there's not much of a difference between points between Leclerc and Russell if Norris gets a full sweep of fastest lap driver of the day and race win, which we've seen right now could be the way to go. Which could be, no, not the way to go, you know what I mean, could be what's happening. So then we have Bradley coming in hot with, cheers man. I always thankful for the support. Thank you all so much for sending all the support. It's hugely. I hugely appreciate it. I always love doing all of this stuff. I mean, I've been doing this now for almost 3 years, I think. It doesn't feel like I've been doing that for that long, because I did about half a year, had a break because I was like, I'm not really enjoying it that much. Then came back and I started enjoying it a lot more. And then obviously the channel kind of exploded a bit in March. And then here we are now. Anyway, yes, final questions coming in hot. I love the stress of seeing yellow. Oh, don't even get me started. You'll see the name plummeting down, and it'll be yellow flag, sector 3 or something. You're like, oh, don't do this to me, not right now. Or what happens, like we saw last weekend with Sonoda, is they'll have a crash, and then you'll sort of be like, oh my god, he's not gonna stay in, and then he stays in, but because he's like a lap or two behind, and the car's just damaged, they then just pit him and retire him. I know that's happened to me a couple of times. I think it was Leclerc they did it in Canada. Was it Leclerc they did it with Canada? Where he was just so far behind everyone. They were like, oh, screw it, just DNF him. And I was like, no, don't do that. I can't have these DNF points. Not the -20. But yeah, good luck, everyone. I hope you have all enjoyed the stream. Norris Piastri or Norris Leclerc? Norris Leclerc for me, Levan. Nicolaus. I would stick with Norris Russell, 100%. I went Norris, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Sonoda, Colapinto, McLaren, Ferrari. So Hulkenberg, good for some budget, but I would have gone Sonoda. Oh no, you brought in Sonoda there. Gasly potentially, yeah. I think he's going to be a bit of a surprise, hopefully. And then Colapinto, good for budget as well. No problem, man. I'm trying to help out everyone's teams, so don't worry, yours will always get it. The amount of times Sargent almost DNF, I know. He did my head in, and I always stuck my head out, my neck out for him, because he's a similar asset to Colapinto. But now Colapinto's coming and actually doing what Sargent was supposed to be doing. Colapinto didn't even need to be doing this, but yeah, yeah. Will the lizard get killed today or not? So hopefully Lawrence won't get killed today. That's his name. Apparently there was Larry in 2023. There was Godzilla in like 2016, 2017 or something like that. And now we've got Lawrence here today. Very fancy name. It's basically just Larry, but fully in it. But anyway, right, what is the time? It's 1:53 here. Qualifying starting in 7 minutes. Lock in your teams, everyone. And that is me, good and proper. So I will see you all. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow for a post-race live stream. I will be doing one this weekend. And that will kind of work with the team points, but I don't know what I'll do with that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all got something out of this F1 Fantasy live stream. I can see the final questions coming out. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. It means a lot. And hey, let's keep this going. I'm loving the content. I'm loving all of you. So let's see what happens. Sprint race weekend next week. Sprint race weekend in a month's time. So that's going to be good fun, especially F1 Fantasy wise. That's the best thing. Let's see what happens. Oh, actually, qualifying predictions for anyone who cares and didn't watch my last video. Norris, I've still got on first place. I've still got Leclerc second place, but now I've got Russell third place. Biggest surprise, I put Gasly, but I think the V-carbs have kind of taken that now. I still actually think I was fully right though with biggest shocker of Lewis Hamilton, but we'll see what happens, and hopefully Williams score points because I don't want to be I don't want to be waxing my arm or my leg because that kind of hurts. I've only done it once for 20 quid. I shaved I waxed one of my armpits for 20 quid. I would not recommend doing stupid bets like that, but yeah. Yeah, it was the easiest 20 quid I've made of my life, but it did hurt. So I'm hoping that Williams do score points so I don't have to do it on my arm or my leg. But anyway, yes. I would, Nicolaus, add Sainz instead of Russell. Yeah, I'd do that, Nicolaus. Keep your free transfers for the sprint. But yeah, hopefully no lizards get killed today or tomorrow or any day. I mean, just in general. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all got something out of this live stream. Magnussen versus Tsunoda, Yuki Tsunoda. And with that, see you all later. Enjoy qualifying, and I'll see you all on the live stream, hopefully, after the race to talk about how well our teams did. Goodbye, everyone, and good luck.